Welcome to the season premiere of the Mr. Rodriguez Show, Season 2, baby, Season 2. I'm your host and art teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, and welcome back. As you can see, I'm not in my basement anymore. I am in the art room, or as I renamed it this summer, right now, at this very second, the art studio. Looks a little different. But yeah, welcome back. We're gonna have a good time here. We're gonna pretend that this is like the first day of art, that you come to the art room and it's the very first day. Yeah, so we're gonna have a good time here. So yeah, I'm Mr. Rodriguez. This is my 7th year teaching art. This is my 5th year teaching at Chandler Woods, going on my 6th year. I am married with a wife. I have 2 young boys, ages 5 and 3, and I have a daughter that is pretty much on her way. She's gonna be here in the next couple weeks. Freaking out. Anyway, I like to play music in my spare time. I also am a poultry farmer, a novice poultry farmer. I have chickens and ducks. I have a dog, a cat, a bunch of fish. I also have gained a superpower within the Mr. Rodriguez Show, and that is I can talk to pretty much whoever I want. All I have to do is just say something to them and they respond to me. Isn't that right, Mr. Reich?
Yep, that's right.
Good old Mr. Reich. Maybe he learned to like Rogue One this summer. Maybe he finally got good taste. Anyway, we're going to kind of just walk through some rules and some expectations that I have of you. Even though we are on a computer screen right here, you're watching on a tablet, or you're watching on a phone, I still expect these things from you. The number one rule in the art room is still the same. It still goes here. Respect is number one. And I break down respect 4 ways. First, respect the teacher. Respect the classroom, our virtual space here. Respect your peers and respect yourself. I don't want to hear I'm not good at art, because you are. And I don't want to hear I'm just not an artist, because you are. I like to think if I don't do something quite like how I want it, I say, how can I make this better? How can I fix it? Do I need to take a little break? Maybe take a break, come back with some fresh eyes. Each week, I will put out a brand new video for you per your grade level with a brand new art project that builds upon what we've learned. It will require only the materials that you have that I requested you get. And yeah, if possible, I'd love for you to save it or bring it to the school and turn it in to me so I can see it in person. If that's not possible, just wait till we all come back and bring it to me. Save your work, please. Please save your work. When I'm ready to start each project, I'm gonna start it just like in the classroom. So let's see if you can remember this one. Let me know you're...
Hey man, I'm ready!
That was beautiful. All right, 2nd graders, what we are going to do today is we are going to look at something that's pretty identifiable when you go to certain areas. So if you're going to this kind of certain place, it should tell you that, hey, I'm in a city, and there should be one identifiable thing that should tell you that, and that's a skyscraper. So a skyscraper, we know what a skyscraper is. It's a big, 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 tall building. But what defines a skyscraper? What is the difference between a tower that's only 5 stories tall compared to one that's maybe 25? Well, according to its definition, a skyscraper is something that exceeds 10 floors. That means 10 individual floors that you can walk up on. And it's called a skyscraper because it is so tall that it scrapes the sky. Now, back before skyscrapers were around, the tallest thing that you would see in a village or in a city were always steeples of churches. They were always the tallest thing in the sky. Skyscrapers kind of build upon that. They're so tall that they scrape the sky. So the invention of what's called the safety elevator, or an elevator, which takes you from one floor to the next by lifting you, this allowed for buildings to become bigger and taller. So if you have a building that's 25 stories high, you can take an elevator and you can rise to the top of it rather than walking the stairs, because some people just can't do that. So they wanted to accommodate everybody. So the first skyscraper, considered skyscraper, was the Oriel Chambers in Liverpool, England. And it was considered that, not because it had 10 stories, but it was that earliest form of a building becoming taller and taller and taller compared to, a couple stories, which is what you used to see in old villages and cities. As more people grow to a city, it was hard for them to build outwards, so they started to take buildings and build upwards. One thing that happened that lets you build buildings even taller was the invention of steel, or adding steel to building a tower. Now, steel is super strong. It is so strong, they even named a superhero after it and a very bad Shaquille O'Neal movie after it. But it's so strong that it can hold buildings. It can hold weight. It can hold everything up high into the sky there. And because of the steel, two cities started to compete with, not really compete, but you started to see major growth in Chicago, and you started to see major growth in New York City, which both have notable skylines and very, very notable buildings. We'll talk about that in a second. So if you take a bunch of skyscrapers and you put them together, what do you think it's called? Well, you have what's called a cityscape. Now, think about a landscape, and we've talked about the word landscape. Landscape means it's natural made things, mountains, rivers, valleys, flowers, stuff like that, trees, water. Cityscape is the exact opposite. It's a collection of buildings which are man-made things. A characteristic of a cityscape is a bunch of skyscrapers, a bunch of buildings put together. That's what you see. If you're driving through a city, if you're driving through a major city, skyscrapers are what you see. So right here we have the Chicago skyline. You can see the different size towers. You can see the different color of towers, the kind of windows. They're all different. You can see the Ellis Tower right there, tall above all the other towers. Here we have Hong Kong, China, and this is a cityscape at night. You can see all the bright colors, but you can still see all the windows, all the different shapes of the buildings, the colors, the size. Back to New York City, and you can see what is called the Manhattan skyline, and there's the Empire State Building. Bunch of different shaped towers there, different colors, different sizes. So again, a collection of buildings is what's called a cityscape, and it gives you that feel that you are actually in a city. So what are you going to do? What is going to be your project? We are going to do a sketchbook project. We're going to use our sketchbook. We're going to use the white paper in it. And what we're going to do is we are going to draw our own cityscape. And what I want you to do is, since you're on a computer, since you're on a tablet, something, I want you to look up a picture. Or I'll make these pictures available to you. But I want you to look up a picture of a major city: New York, Chicago, Miami, Houston, San Francisco, Los Angeles, London, Paris. The world's big. Look up different cities. And what I want you to do is I want you to draw the best of your ability. I want you to draw, just using pencil, a cityscape of a real city. Now, I said you can choose any city in the world, and I want you to look at a picture right here, because the reason I'm having you do this is we are going to work on what's called our observational skills. And we're going to come back to our observational skills where we look at something and we draw it. So you need to have a pencil. You need to have your sketchbook. I'm just going to do a brief, really quick kind of example, but I really want to see more so how you guys go about and do it. I want you to look at the detail, and I want you to try to draw as much detail as you can. All right, so one thing we want is we need our sketchbook right here. We need our pencil. And what we're gonna do is we are going to start by drawing what we see. Now, I kind of like to, when I draw cityscapes, is I like to pick one point on the side and I like to work my way this way. You want to make sure that your city is down towards the bottom here because your tall buildings are going to go way up. You don't want to have a small building right here and then, you know, your big city will not be able to fit on the paper right there. Or your big building won't be able to fit on the paper right there. So I am going to draw Manhattan here now. We got a nice picture Manhattan that we looked at, that Manhattan skyline, which I've actually seen before. I didn't see it at this height, but I've actually walked right by the Empire State Building. Walked right next to it, and it is gigantic. So I'm just kind of looking at these pictures, or these buildings, and I'm just kind of drawing what I see. I'm starting with buildings first. Staying down to the bottom. You can see the top. I see some like rectangle shapes. Okay, here's a longer building right here. Now, when I was a kid, I really liked to draw buildings. So I would just draw fake cityscapes, actually. I would try to come up with my own buildings, because also when I was younger, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we had to pause briefly to sharpen my pencil. But as I was saying, when I was a kid, I would draw these fake cityscapes. And the reason I did that is because I actually wanted to be an architect. I wanted to design buildings and design houses and stuff like that. But then the dream of wanting to become a baseball player became into my head, and as you can see, that worked out pretty good. I'm a famous baseball player. Right here, we got another building. Now I'm gonna zip this into fast motion because I said this is gonna be a quick example because I really want to see more how you guys go about and do this. So fast motion, here we go. All right, so I got my city scene, my Manhattan skyline, mostly drawn here. Now, again, I don't want too much coloring going on in here. You can see I kind of shaded right there, but I kind of like everything just to be straight up pencil there. By making this pencil drawing, I can kind of see how the basic drawing goes for you. So what I want you to do, just a reminder, fill up your paper right here. Start at the bottom so the buildings are down here so your taller buildings can be more visible. All right, so what I want you to do, just a reminder, is you're gonna pick one city. It can be any major city in the world, I don't care. You're gonna draw its skyline. You're gonna draw a cityscape. A cityscape, remember, is a bunch of buildings all in a row with each other, a collection of buildings. You're gonna draw them as you see them with just a pencil in your sketchbook. And there you go. Remember, when you're done to write your name on your paper, make sure that you save this in your sketchbook because I am gonna wanna see it when it's done. Whether it means once we're all back together and you show me your sketchbook, or whether it means, you come and rip the paper out and drop it off to me at the school, either way. Awesome. So thank you for tuning into the Mr. Rodriguez Show. I'll see you next week with the next awesome lesson here, and have yourself a good day.